thinking about buying a fixer-upper, let me give you a few tips to help keep you out of trouble. Hi, welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Real Estate with Stephen Smith. Today is a continuation of the topic of fixer-uppers. I've already covered the pros and cons, so now I'm going to cover are the things or tips that you really should bear in mind when you're going and searching for that next project home. First off, you need to get some good home inspections, and I mean thorough. So you need to get a home inspection, you need to get a pest inspection. If there's a chimney, you probably want to get one of those. Definitely a roof inspection. And depending on the condition of the property overall, if it really looks bad, you might even consider getting a foundation inspection, as that is probably one of the biggest costs you're going to run into. But nevertheless, do your due diligence, get all your inspections done first. It's cheap insurance. Okay, the second thing you want to do is estimate your renovation costs. Let's say it's a complete disaster of a house and you're taking it down to the studs. Okay, it's going to cost for materials at the very beginning for all the tile and flooring and counters and whatever for the kitchens and the baths and paint and everything you're going to need. That's the first thing you're going to do. And then figure out the labor costs. Unless you're doing this all on your own, you're going to need to hire a qualified contractor, and there's going to be a lot of cost around that. So do your due diligence on that as well. Find yourself a really good contractor and then add all that up together and then probably double it, because that's the reality of how much money you're going to need. Okay, 3. Figure out if you're going to need permits. Anything that gets into the structure is going to need permits. So if you're going to remove walls or change the layout, or you're going to be adding rooms or adding windows or anything that's structural, and some things that you wouldn't necessarily think you need permits, nevertheless, check it out. Get the permits. Get them up front. They take a long time in some cases to get. So get all that stuff up front and figure out what the costs are involved around those as well. Identify what projects you might be able to do yourself. Clearly, electrical, plumbing, framing, those kinds of things, you probably want to get a professional to do that, as they're going to be inspectors looking at the work once it's done, and you'll have to get all that signed off. But if it's superficial stuff, let's say it's some landscaping or maybe just painting, typical do-it-yourself projects. Sometimes you can save a lot of money if you can take that on yourself and it doesn't take you too much time or too much money. Okay, you've gone through your inspections and you've identified a budget. Okay, you've found the home and you want to make an offer. Okay, well, make sure that either you have all those inspections done up front before you make the offer, or make sure you give yourself enough time if you're making an offer so you can have those inspections done. Don't wave them off. And then also, chances are, because it's a fixer-upper and it's run down, you might be able to negotiate a really good price for that. That's the whole point of doing this. If you're going to buy something, don't buy it top dollar. I mean, get your realtor to negotiate the price for you so you can get it down as low as possible and get the best price before you even get started on any kind of project. At the end of the day, you've got to decide whether it's going to be a good investment. Look at the comparable properties around the area, what they're selling for, versus how much you're going to have to pay to get the fixer-upper. Is it going to be worth that extra cost and extra work in order to be able to do that? And this is true particularly if you're looking at flipping a house. But even if you're keeping it for yourself, unless you're planning on staying there a really long time, look at the comparables and make sure this is the right area, the right house. Okay, in closing, essentially, make sure you do your due diligence. That's the most important thing of getting a really good project house that either you're going to be able to make money on or that you're going to be able to enjoy for years to come, versus buying a big giant money pit that you're just going to keep dumping money over and over into, and it's just a big nightmare. So do your homework and you will save a lot of headaches. Well, that wraps it up for another episode of Real Estate with Stephen Smith. So if you like what you hear, please like the video or subscribe or share with your friends. And if you're interested in buying or selling, particularly in the Silicon Valley area or San Francisco Bay Area, give me a call. I love to work with you or your friends or family. And my contact information will be at the bottom as well as at the end of this video. So if you have any interest, reach out. Until then, I will see you again on the next episode. Thanks for watching.